Welcome to the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call. This is April 11th call. This call happens every single Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we have Microsoft presenters, so as in PMs, cloud advocates, engineers, and so on within this call. Other calls, what we do, are a bit more open for community demos, except today we'll actually have a community demo in this one, which is awesome. That's part of the hackathon award winners as well. My name is Vesa Juvonen. I'm a principal product manager in Microsoft 365 areas, just to introduce me as well. Now, we do have an unfortunate change on the agenda today, so it might be that we'll actually close a bit earlier, which is not a bad thing either. So we can do an ad hoc Q&A in the end and all of that, but we'll have two sessions and two main stars, one being Garry Trinder, who's going to talk about announcing Microsoft Teams Toolkit Cloud Scale Challenge. I don't even know what that is all about, so let's actually wait for Garry to explain what that is all about, and probably we'll have awards and prizes and all of that in there as well. And then we have Ayadi, who is one of the winners from the Microsoft Craft Hackathon, and he actually built a really cool looking solution around Azure Form Recognizer and using Microsoft Craft for optimizing productivity. That's a pretty vague statement, but he's going to show that one in practice. So it's a really cool demo for sure. Now, John was intended to do an introduction for Microsoft Teams Toolkit V5, which is now in preview. You probably want to check it out, and I already know the latest builds, which are coming up pretty soon, have a lot of cool stuff as well. But unfortunately, John needed to cancel, so we're pushing him to next week related on this demo. And life happens. We might get sick. There are spring things happening as well. So let's reschedule that for next week then. Now, a few items just to recap on what do we do and what's available for you. First of all, we have the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community YouTube channel, where we have all of the community demos and community call demos and a lot of other videos as well. So guidance videos and all of that. We do publish one video at least every single business day, quite often multiple videos within a day on different areas across the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. We do also have our LinkedIn group for discussions and updates. That's a group, so that means that it's not one-sided communication from us and Microsoft towards you. It's rather you asking questions and also sharing your findings, and we can engage with you within that group. So that is a great option to engage with us as well and engage with other community members. We have a lot of open source assets available for you to take advantage, but as it might be a bit difficult to find the relevant sample for you, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you with the sample galleries. So there are different sample galleries, and then there's the unified Microsoft 365 sample gallery at AKMS Community Samples, where you can find all of the individual samples provided by Microsoft or by community members. And if you're wondering that there's too many URLs, too many assets to remember, luckily there's only one, which is AKMS/community/home, where you can find all of the different assets and options to engage with the community, including our community calls. So we do have quite a lot of community calls happening throughout the week and throughout the month, and it's not obviously, we are not asking you to join on all of them. You can if you have the availability, but you can always check the recordings afterwards. And we do always publish the community call agendas advance. So you can check advance what's actually happening within the call, and then you can prioritize the call if you want to have that in-person or a live experience rather than watching the recording afterwards. So we do have the weekly one, which is this one, 8 a.m. Pacific time, every single Tuesday. We have Power Platform, Microsoft Identity Platform, and Office Add-ins monthly calls. Office Add-ins monthly calls happens this week. And then we have our Thursday 7 a.m. Pacific time series, which is either Microsoft 365 Power Platform or Viva Connection and SharePoint Framework call. And in those calls, we typically have community presenters as well. You can download all of the recurrent invites from AKMS community calls /calls, or you can sign up for the meetup updates, which is a relatively new thing which we started doing as well. It's a really easy way to understand what is the planned agenda for next week. So typically on Wednesday, Thursday, on the previous week, we always publish the agendas for upcoming week, and that makes it super easy for you to prioritize your work and family things based on the interest and topics which are covered within a call. Now, I did mention that we want our community members to actually present, and we do have a lot of volunteers, which is awesome, but we're looking always new presenters or previous presenters to come back within the course as well, because we learn by watching somebody else's solutions and their experiences, their development, and what they learned as part of doing all of these journeys. So if you're looking into having exposure for your solution, for your demo, or for yourself, or you want to share your learnings, please sign up for the community call demo at AKMS community request demo. That is a simple form. We'll then contact you for actual timing. Right now, for the Thursday call especially, which is for the community members, our queue is roughly, I would say, 1.5 months. So we'll get you certainly scheduled, but the queue, there's certain amount of people already signed up. So if you're kind of wondering on, should I sign up now? Answer is yes. So you'll get scheduled in May or in June rather than later on within the year. So do sign up for the demos for sure. Now, we also have a lot of getting started assets available for Microsoft 365 development, and actually for Power Platform side as well. And we have the Microsoft 365 developer program. You will get a free E5 tenant when you sign up to that program, and it will automatically renew as long as you use it for developer usage. We also have a lot of training material and training modules available from the Microsoft Learn. So a lot of individual modules. Let's probably double check the number of Learn modules already, because it's by far much more than that. We also have 3 different recurrent roughly weekly podcast or video shows, which is Microsoft 365 Developer Podcast, hosted by Jeremy Thake and Paul Schaffelin or Aisha Bash. And then we have the Microsoft 365 PMP Weekly, hosted by Waldek Mastercards and yours truly. And then we have the Power Platform Connections happening also every single week, hosted by David Warner and Hugo Bernier. So great ways of staying up to date on what's actually happening within the Microsoft Cloud. I did mention the sample galleries which we have available. So the primary location is the unified sample gallery, which is available from the adaption.microsoft.com. Easiest way to get there is by remembering community/samples. That's a really easy URL to remember. And right now we have already 1,540 plus samples available from here. And that is actually listing samples from Microsoft and from the community. And that's a really cool thing. So you can actually find all of the samples from one centralized location rather than going individual repos and individual location and try to find the relevant sample for you. Now, as you find the sample, you might be wondering, okay, what now? It is in GitHub. How do I get started with that? You might not be familiar with that, but we have you covered with our Sharing is Caring initiative. And David Warner from Los Angeles is going to explain what is that all about.
Live from Los Angeles, this is David Warner, and we're going to talk about the hub of Gits. Yes, thank you, Vesa. What we have here is a... Thank you. You're too much. Thank you. But what we have here is a program that is set up to provide you hands-on guidance. Now, what we do is these are live safe space opportunities for you to ask any and all questions, to work through how to do things like submit a pull request. And we don't record it, so it is absolutely safe space for you to ask any and all questions. We are looking to scale this, by the way. We've got a number of sessions that we are trying to jumpstart again. We know it's been challenging to scale this just with some changes in things lately. We're looking for volunteers, so if you'd like to help out, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Hugo Bernier or anyone else on the team. We are always looking for those, and it's a contribution and helps you as an MVP, or if you want to become an MVP. So check out, look for more sessions that are going to be scheduled. Reach out if you'd like to help out. We want to work together with you in the community. aka.ms/sharingiscaring. Vesa, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, David, on that one. And moving back to Helsinki, this is awesome. We are a global community. We're moving across the continents in a matter of seconds. Now, talking about moving across the continents, a lot of us will be actually in Las Vegas in early May, starting from the April 13th with a Sunday, April 13th with workshops. And then the actual conference starts from the 2nd, or is from 2nd to 4th of May. And there's a post-conference workshop as well. There's going to be a lot of Microsoft executives, as in the biggest stars within the Microsoft. I was going to talk about the new latest capabilities and features which are going to be announced and has been announced, and there's going to be new announcements there as well. So that's going to be really awesome. A lot of Microsoft speakers, but also community speakers and MVPs within Las Vegas. Now, following up on the Las Vegas, 2nd of May to 4th of May, we also have the European Collaboration Summit happening on 24th to 26th of May. This is happening in Düsseldorf, in Germany. So depending again on which side of the world you are, that might be easier or harder for you to visit than the Las Vegas. But it is also a great conference with 3 days of content. The first day being a pre-day, as in the multiple workshops option available for you, and then a lot of presenters from Microsoft and other areas as well. We also have a 365 EduCon happening 3 times this year, so June, August, and October, DC, Seattle, and Chicago. Great options to also meet people in person, and a lot of the people in this call actually are presenting in some of these conferences as well. And then we have our European Power Platform Conference happening in Dublin to 20 to 22nd of June, a great option for in-person meetups as well. Now, on top of those larger kind of events or larger events where we have thousands of people, we also have a lot of in-person community-led events. They might be smaller. Some of them are hybrid. Some of them are virtual. Some of them are in person. You can find all of them from the communitydays.org URL. In April, a lot of events happening. In May, even more events happening, and we can see the growth of events in the future as well. If you go to the communitydays.org, you can see what's available. On the news side, and there was 3 news on the Microsoft 365 developer side explicitly, which were around the Microsoft Kyoto, which has now Visual Studio Code extension, which is really cool. There's license management capabilities for independent software vendors for Microsoft Teams, an update on that, and then an update on the Visual Studio Teams toolkit for Visual Studio Code version 5, and Aisha is actually showing how to start using the dashboard application on it. On the Teams side, on the Teams log side, there was the snapshot announcement, which happened actually, I think it was yesterday. So you can actually now, or soon you will have snapshot options available within Teams. You can control that availability across the tenants. So if that, for whatever reason, is not suitable within your company, you can, of course, configure those options based on the company policies as well. And then there's a ISV introductions, there's Signature Teams Room, more capabilities available there. There's Microsoft Viva Summit happening in 20th of April, a reminder set up on that one. And then there are top 10 questions from the customers related on Viva Sales. So what is that and how does that improve your business or how it can improve your sales roles? And the development application, which uses site selected permission around the SharePoint sites. That's a really cool update as well. Now, for the Microsoft Teams platform documents, we have Wajeed to cover what is the latest on there.
Thanks, Vesa. Hello, everyone. So today I'm covering sample code updates for Teams platform. We received feedback that SSO sample were not working for single tenant app registration scenario. So now we have updated our sample code and README instructions to reflect steps required to support SSO in single tenant configuration. So there are 3 main changes needed to support single tenant SSO. While creating a new bot, you need to select type of app as a single tenant. While configuring the OAuth connection setting, you need to specify the tenant ID where the bot is going to be used. For multi-tenant purpose, we specify common there. And we also included 2 parameters in the app setting JSON in sample, the app Microsoft app type and Microsoft tenant ID. The app type needs to be set as a single tenant, and the Microsoft app tenant ID needs to be set same as the OAuth connection setting. So once all the changes are completed, you can run the sample, and as a part of output, you would see the profile information for the logged in user. So please go ahead and check out the sample, and thanks a lot for providing the feedback. Keep them coming so that we could improve upon what we have. If you have any additional feedback, please post it on ak.ms/Teams platform feedback. The link is available in the footer, and you could also configure the RSS feed to get the regular platform updates. Thank you. Back to you, Vesa.
Excellent. Thank you, Wajeed, on that one. Really cool to see the updates in this side as well. And as Wajeed was saying, your feedback is super critical for these areas as well. So please let us know what works and what doesn't. Now, I can see Rodrigo, I can see Luis, I can see Todd there as well. A lot of people. So we do have 50 seats in the room for taking a together mode picture. And we're starting to see mesh people in the room as well. That's completely understandable. Great new features in Microsoft Teams. Let me actually click that one. We can actually see nowadays the names of the people, and this is actually getting better and better. Hopefully that's not a preview feature, which I should not be showing you, but things happen. Now, we do have 50 seats in a room. I'm not going to enable my camera because we're filling in the room pretty fast. I will put the recording on, and let's do some hand waving. We're clapping again, 4 seconds, 5 seconds of waving hands. Thanks everybody for joining. Hopefully you can make the Las Vegas. I can see dapping on the meshes. The meshes are really funny actually on this one. This is really cool. Awesome stuff. Excellent. We'll grab a GIF animation out of that. A bit pixelated today, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad for sure. And then we'll go to the actual stars of today. We'll start by Garry doing a quick intro on announcing Microsoft Teams Toolkit Cloud Skills Challenge. And then we move to Houssem Ayadi and to talk about the Hack Together winner. I think Waldek is going to do a quick intro on that one. What was this all about? And then we're going to actually have a real demo of the Azure Form Recognizer optimizing productivity. As mentioned originally already, we were supposed to have John Miller to talk about the introduction of Microsoft Teams Toolkit V5, but unfortunately there was a unfortunate last-minute cancellation on his availability. But it's okay. We're going to delay. I'll repeat that one next week. So all good from that perspective. Garry, let's jump on your screen and cover the topics from your side.
Sure. Let's share screen. Hello, everyone. My name is Garry Trinder. I'm a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft. And as Vesa has already mentioned, I'm here to introduce a challenge. But first of all, do you want to learn how to build apps for Microsoft Teams? Well, if the answer is yes, then you are in luck. And also, if you do want to learn, you may also be able to win a prize. Why is that? Well, we have, as mentioned, the Teams Toolkit Cloud Skills Challenge, which is starting, and our very own community Microsoft 365 princess, Louise Fries, is hosting this challenge, which takes place between the 12th of April, which is tomorrow, and the 26th of April. To learn all of the details, just go to the short link, aka.ms/learn-teams-toolkit, and there you'll find the registration page, where you can go on there, find the challenge content. You're able to register, so you can register now, or if say in a week's time you want to come back to it, you can register then, so you don't have to just register before the 12th. So go along, register, and then simply learn. So the challenge is really to learn how to build Microsoft Teams apps using Teams Toolkit and following the Microsoft learning path to do that as well. So go through the material, complete the individual modules, complete the learning path. You will then complete the challenge, and then be in for a chance to win. However, we don't want you to stop there. No, we just don't want you to simply go along and just learn and get to the end and tick a box. If you've built something and you just want to share it, you've got lots of opportunities in the community to be able to do that as well. We've already mentioned we have the community samples gallery as well. Perfect place to submit one of maybe the apps that you've created throughout the challenge, and share that with the rest of the community. And if you do that, why not go the next step? Why don't you come onto a community call and tell us all about it? What were your experiences like? How did you build the app that you're wanting to show us? Just share that knowledge. And as you're going through, we do have a hashtag as well. So we do encourage you to share on all the social medias and use the hashtag #LearnTeamsToolkit. That way we can obviously see as well the work that you're doing, and congratulate you obviously on completing the challenge. One thing that I want to definitely call out is when you're registering, make sure that you go through the official rules page. This is very important. As I mentioned, there can be prizes. If you don't do this, then you won't be eligible. So make sure that you go through the form And then at the end of the form, I think it's one of the final steps is to provide your information, so some details. So obviously we'll be able to contact you about that prize. So make sure you submit the form and then accept the checkbox there. Once you've registered, that's it. You're in. You'll get an email tomorrow or straight away if you're after the 12th with further details about the challenge as well. Now, what you're going to learn on this challenge? Well, I mentioned this is covering, or the challenge is going to provide you the modules for the Microsoft Learn Path, which is build and deploy apps for Microsoft Teams using Teams Toolkit for Visual Studio Code. That's going to go through how to get started. So if you have no experience in building apps for Teams in the past, then fantastic place to start. It'll go through the basics and how you can get Teams Toolkit installed. Then you'll move on to how to build bots. Then moving on to how to build tabs. Then you'll look at how to integrate the Teams JavaScript library. In there, some hands-on examples of how to use that library to bring in native functionality from Teams and put that into your apps as well. So you don't have to rebuild components. You can reuse what is already available in the Teams platform. And finally, how to deploy and publish your Teams app to Azure and to your organization as well. So you know, not just developing on your own machine, getting it out there for people to use in either your organization or just in a dev tenant that you can share with other people. So just to recap, this is the Teams Toolkit Cloud Skills Challenge. As I mentioned, this is being hosted by Louise as well. I know she's in the chat as well. She's looking forward to seeing what everyone is going to build off the back of this challenge as well. Reminder, it takes place between the 12th and 26th of April. The all-important link to register, so aka.ms learn Teams Toolkit. And yeah, please go along, learn, build things, build cool things, and more importantly, build those cool things and tell everyone about it as well. We definitely want to hear from you. And with that, Vesa, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Garry, on that introduction. Really awesome setup as well. Have a look on that. And Luisa is also answering a lot of the questions on the chat if there's any questions. Then let's actually move to Houssem Ayadi related on Hack to Get a Winner. Would you, Waldek, want to say a few words related on this as we move along?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. We've made it from the UK. We are in the Netherlands. Welcome, everybody. Beginning of March, we had this awesome online hack all about Microsoft Graph and .NET, where basically the idea was to get everybody to experience firsthand by building the power of Microsoft Graph and what cool things you can build for work and school. And today all of us, we'll see one of the winners and the hack that they built. Now, oftentimes, in the current world, like, we get to automate things. We get so much tech available to all of us that we get to automate things. But what when you don't? Sometimes some companies in some places still use analog processes to work. How can you harness the power of all the tools that you've got available to you on Azure, Microsoft 365? How can you use that to work more efficiently? So without further ado, I hand it over to Houssem, who will show you the hack that they built and how you can use the power of the cloud to work more efficiently and effectively. Houssem, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I'm Houssem Ayadi. I will share my screen now to talk about our application and our winning project of Hack Together. So just a second for me to share my screen.
Excellent. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Houssem Ayadi, a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and a third-year medical student. And I'm the maker of Schedule Ease, which is the winning project, the second prize of Hack Together. And I'm joined today with my teammate, Aziz.
Hello everyone, I'm Aziz Gassara. I'm also a medical student with Houssem. I'm a Harvard Online Medical School certified. And also we are founders of NTCF MSF, Microsoft Tech Club in the Faculty of Medicine of SPECS. Okay, we'll be talking a little about Microsoft Tech Club in our faculty, which is a club we founded last year. I'm talking about this to make the context why we are talking about technology and the link between technology and the medical field. So we wanted to link between these two fields by raising awareness in the students, and we wanted to create projects using a lot of technologies on Microsoft, like Microsoft Graph, like Azure, and we created this project that won the second prize. And I'll let Houssem talk you about Schedule Ease.
So, as I said, I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and the program managers are always sharing with us news and from Microsoft, etc. So, when I saw the opportunity to participate in Hack Together and I saw the hackathon, I was very excited to participate in the hackathon. But we didn't have any knowledge about Microsoft Graph or the technologies that we are going to use in our projects. We didn't have any ideas. We didn't even know what Microsoft Graph is capable of doing. So, but we were very interested in participating in the hackathon. So we spent the couple of first days trying to see what Microsoft Graph APIs is capable of, and how and what can we do to use it, and how can it impact our community as medical students or as students in our university to make our life easier. So we brainstormed a lot and thought about a lot of projects, and we chose the most impactful project in our community, which is Schedule Ease. Now, what is Schedule Ease is what we are gonna show you now. We have made a trailer that I want to share with you that talks about Schedule Ease and the idea behind it. And after that, we are going to make a demo of the application. So I'll let you with the video.
Each week, the University of Sfax prints the timetables for all of the students and sticks them on the notice board. The students need to check the notice board each time to see what sessions they have in that particular week. With Schedule Ease, students can now scan their timetables and all their sessions will be added to their calendar. This way they will never forget about a session. By using Schedule Ease, the student can upload a picture of their timetable or just snap it using their camera. Using the power of Azure AI Form Recognizer, the picture is scanned and transformed into an array of sessions. If the sessions returned by the AI match, the student can add them to their calendar, or they can try again with another picture. The application prompts the student to sign in using their Microsoft account. And using the power of Microsoft Graph API, the sessions are added to the student's calendar. Now the student can check their timetable from anywhere by accessing the Outlook calendar.
Okay, so that was the video, and now it's the demo time. So our application is a cross-platform application built on .NET MAUI, which is a platform that we didn't use before. We did have a small background about Xamarin, but this was our first time using MAUI. So it was great learning about all these things in that short period of time. In just 2 weeks, we learned about .NET MAUI, we learned about the Microsoft Graph API, we learned about the different features of Azure, like the Azure Form Recognizer, and it was just amazing. So let me show you the application. It's right here. It's called Schedule Ease. And it's just a minimum viable product which has 2 buttons, the upload button and the take a picture button. And you can either upload a picture of the timetable or take a picture when you are in the university or you have the timetable in front of you. You can take a picture with your mobile phone. As I said, it's a cross-platform application, so it works on iOS, Android, and Windows as well. So our faculty prints our timetables every week and they put it in the notice board. And as students, we need to check that every day to see what lessons do we have in that day, etc. So we thought of the students. We thought, because a lot of students, even I, were missing some sessions, some important sessions. So we thought of the students and we built schedules. So this is the type of timetables or rosters that the faculty prints and put in the notice board. They are tables and they put here the name of the sessions that we have in the week. And this is for all the levels, like the 3rd year, the 4th year, the 5th year, all the students have the same roster. So we thought of automating that and adding that to the calendar, to make, especially to make notification to the students and to make them to have a full view of what they have in that week. So this is the example of the timetable, and you can just upload it from here. As you see, if I open my calendar now, the timetable is the timetable from the 13th to 18th of March, like here in the picture. It's from 13 to 18 March. It's in French here. And if you see here, I don't have sessions related to schools. It's just some sessions related to the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program. And when I upload the picture, it will scan the image using the Microsoft Azure Form Recognizer and return me an array of sessions. So I can check if all this information are correct with the original picture, and it looks that the information is correct, so I can add it to the calendar. If there was a problem scanning the image or etc., you can just cancel and try with another picture, and it will tell you that it failed to recognize something. So I will just add it to the calendar. And here it prompts me to sign in with my Microsoft account to be able to add it to the corresponding calendar. I will show this the Students Ambassador account. And it will take just a few seconds to add it to the calendar. And it's all set up in my calendar. So success, session added successfully. So when I check again in the calendar now, it should, if I refresh it, it should show up here, my session of the week of 13th to 18th. So all the sessions are here. And it's just amazing how it can help students to not miss any more sessions. That's all.
Now, if you don't mind, don't stop sharing yet. A few questions. How hard was the Azure side of the house? So were you able to figure out the documentation and the Azure side of the house, and how hard was it?
Okay, so learning was very intuitive, especially that we have a small background with C# and .NET. So learning .NET MAUI was intuitive, and I have a little bit of background also with AI. And Azure Form Recognizer is just very intuitive. It's my first time using it, but it was very intuitive to use the Form Recognizer. There is a visual tool. Like you can try everything and see how the data is and also the Microsoft Graph, there is that the testing window. It's very easy to learn and to test. We didn't look a lot about the documentation because we were try catch guys. So we try with the tools available, and we looked at the documentation of the .NET MAUI especially, but the learning was very intuitive and was very easy to learn all these new things.
Yeah. How much time did you actually spend on the hackathon project, just to understand the scale?
Okay, so we spent the couple of first days brainstorming, essentially, maybe the first days brainstorming, and the actual work was done in 3 to 4 days.
So that's all together up to 5 days of work, which is actually quite significant allocation for sure. Hopefully that didn't impact the studying or anything.
I mean, scaling up and learning all these new things is definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Are you now transforming to be then a computer science student? No, just kidding. Just
maybe.
No, really, really cool, John. This is an awesome solution, and it's actually exactly the stuff what we want to actually also showcase is and understand a bit about the complexity and where Microsoft can improve around the documentation, but also the art of possible. And this is a great sample solution which is combining the Azure Forms recognition services and the Microsoft Graph. So really awesome. How did you, just out of curiosity, how did you come up with an idea? Was it all like, hey, there's a problem? Hey, that's a great idea. Let's solve that with the approach. Was there something, or was that a thinking? Were you already thinking about this beforehand?
Personally, no. But I don't know about Aziz if you had that in mind before the hackathon.
Not really.
Not really. So the hackathon was our the push for us to think about it but it was always a problem for us. But we didn't think about solving it.
But this is a great storyline as well. So you're basically solving on day-to-day something which is bothering you on a day-to-day basis, and really awesome storyline. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for both for the great demos. But thank you, Houssem. Thank you for both of you. Really great presentation. Let's do this. Let's go for our slides. We'll recap some of the typical slides what we do here, and then let's see if we can do an ad hoc Q&A for if there's any questions around the demo or other topics around the Microsoft 365. So let me take the screen in here. And Houssem, Houssem, if you don't mind, if you can share the video which you showed as part of your presentation. I pinged you in a Teams. That would actually help on getting it on the recording. So that would be really cool.
Okay.
And actually, there was two of you. If you can get the both of the names correctly, that would be really good as well. So we really want to make sure that both of you get the credits out of the great demo.
Okay.
Good. So as we started today, we unfortunately had a last-minute cancellation around the Teams Toolkit V5. We will have that demo week from now. We're pushing a few other demos forward, so that's going to help on getting that one there. So next week, we'll have Srinivas and Rick talking about building a Microsoft Teams call queue scheduler solution for customers, and this is something which is available in the GitHub. So it's an open source solution which they actually built for one of their customers, and they are Microsoft employees and consultants and architects who built this kind of a solution, and they're sharing that. Now, John Miller, who couldn't actually make it today, is going to talk about the introduction of Microsoft Teams Toolkit V5 as a new features and capabilities in next week. And then we have one more, well, actually we have two more, but this is the third one for next week, which is the Microsoft Graph Hackathon project. So we have 4 of those altogether, and today we have the second of covering them. Now, related on the community call and the topics what we're covering here, we would love to have your feedback related on what works, what doesn't work, and how we can improve. So all of these community calls exist for your benefit. So we want to maximize that value, what we can provide. So if you have suggestion, feedback, something what doesn't work, something what works, please do let us know at the AKMS community calls and feedback. So please let us know what works. Now, on this particular call, the recording will be available within 24 hours at the Microsoft 365 Power Platform community YouTube channel. We'll get that one processed within upcoming hours. If you follow up on Twitter or in the community or in LinkedIn, you'll know whenever the videos are available and recordings are available, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's an easy way of doing things as well. The next call is on 18th of April at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And because we did have a cancellation or one topic short in today's call, we could do an ad hoc Q&A. Any questions, any comments? As there is quite a few hundred people on the call, we would prefer this to be more on the chat if possible. But if there's any specific questions related on covered topics and things which we want to talk about, we can do an ad hoc demos. We can answer on the questions potentially if there's any. Or alternatively, we can close a bit earlier today as well. That is always an option. No questions.
Not everybody at once.
No, there's a good question from Christian. It always takes a while. So thank you, Waldek, as well. When will be available SVFX 1.17.1? Right now, we don't have any specific reasons for 1.17.1. We are improving the documentation for sure and getting additional things and samples available, but there are no plans to have 1.17.1. But I understand the smiling behind of that question, Christian. Good point. Oh, Q&Q. That's interesting. That is a really good. Let's do an ad hoc fix here. And somewhere in here, I have the slides, and we'll do an ad hoc fix. Just quickly creating the slide. And there we go. Now we're back on a fixed situation. Nobody saw that coming. It's almost like bed and breakfast, Q&Q. Questions, and I don't know what that is. Thank you, Valoras. Yes, a second question answered. There we go. Good. Any one more time, awesome stuff, Houssem and Aziz on the demos, awesome stuff. Are we only having fun on the chat? If there's any actual questions or technical questions, we can always have fun. That's fine as well. We're more than happy to jump on them if there's any plans on that. Oh, are there any updates to adaptive cards that will be presented soon? Good question from George. Right now, we don't have anything specific queued up. Adaptive cards obviously are more and more broadly adapted and used across the systems and solutions. Adaptive cards used to have their own monthly community call, and that was, however, kind of discontinued for the benefit of this Tuesday call, and we're still waiting for the PMs, of course, and the engineers from the adaptive card team is always welcome to join and update their things. I'll ping the PMs if they would be willing to do an update on what's happening on their side within upcoming weeks. That's certainly a welcome thing. Thank you, George, on that. 1.15 is, well, there was a new update related on adaptive cards. So Viva Connection cards are now supporting 1.15 of adaptive cards. But if you are not into the Viva Connection thing, that doesn't mean that much for you. And it would be, of course, nicer to have even more updates on the adaptive cards with the flexibility they provide. Any other questions? Are there any more Planet Teams Toolkit sessions or demos? Not today. So we're looking into having Teams Toolkit demos again next week. So typically we have at least one Teams Toolkit demo within a Tuesday call, looking under the past 2 months, and more within the definitely coming as well. That's a good question from Jim. Any idea how to remove an event receiver from a library when it was added by an app for which you don't have the client secret? That's an actually incredibly complicated thing. There's no simple solution actually for that. By default, you would only be able to do that by executing with the same permissions as the application which was doing that. Otherwise, you cannot, even as an administrator, if I remember correctly, you cannot overwrite the registration. Most likely the best option would be to try to find help from the Microsoft support if possible, because of course there's always an option, but it's not a typical setup. Good. Good question from the Adaptive Car Things. Craig is asking about the SPO 5K view limits. Now, technically, the 5K view limit is no longer an issue as such. There are ways how it's actually mitigated in the modern list. Now, if you use the classic list, then there might be still an issue. But there are complicated nuances related on that. The question would be more on why would you ever need to show more than 5,000 items in the SharePoint list? Show more than 5,000 items in a SharePoint list. SharePoint lists do support millions and millions of items in them, so that will not be a problem. I understand that there are nuances on this question which we might, and I'm providing this consultant answer right now. I know Craig is smiling because he probably knows why I'm saying this. Anyone working modernizing search admin based pages? If this is related on share, I think we have a modern search admin pages. Definitely, and there's work being all the time done across the organizations on making things better and better. Now, can we provide an update on that? Unfortunately, no. Is there a timeline for it? Not specifically. Craig, by the way, on the 5K thing. If you don't mind, if you could actually answer, add that question, if you can provide details related on the use case, if you would able to ask that question in SharePoint DevDocs issue list, it's actually this list. I'm more than happy to actually go back on the PM, ONM PM, because pretty recently there was a discussion with the ONM PM that they don't understand why people keep on asking this question. But if you can provide the context, what are you seeing as a problem? Let's have a look on and try to get clarity on that one. Really, very cool thing. So completely understand that. Is there an API or plan to release an API to return user profile properties schema? What terms that is associated to user property? No. That gets. I know Marcin's question is relevant for a end-to-end automation in a tenant level, but I can pretty much say that there are no plans right now to invest on the classic SharePoint Online user profile. It's still 100% supported. We're not planning to drop that, not at all. But there's also work and plans being done to introduce potentially a modern user profile capabilities and features. And that's been an ongoing discussion in the roadmap for quite a long time, actually. So we're not looking into dropping, of course, the UPA, classic UPA, any like that until there would be a replacement. But that also means that we are not looking into investing to introduce new APIs or capabilities too much to a feature which potentially might go away at some point. So. List items. Stefan's question is good. I would have to go back on actually the same people who will answer me to 5K question. That's a really good. Let me try to add a note on myself on that and try to follow up on that if that comes up. But I do not know. Copy to move to functionality should be an easily. It would make sense for list items to do that, because if you copy a file and if that moves also the metadata of the file, then it's basically exactly the same feature. Will there be a PowerShell version of App Catalog to add to Teams? Right now, you can only do that within the PnP PowerShell. I think PnP PowerShell has that, but the SharePoint Online PowerShell does not have that one. So unfortunately, I don't think there are plans to do that. But if you're using the PnP PowerShell, it should be able to do that. I know that PnP PowerShell is not always an availability for every single customer either. So on Jim Duncan's managed schema, managed result sources and all of that, yes, that falls partly on the same thing as user profile UPA, which hasn't actually got too much love as in investments in the past time, but it's not that those would not be supported. But I think there's a lot of internal discussion on what is the direction related on which search and which bases and investments, and that is always then could be causing delays on getting investments on the pages. And I completely agree, those pages are incredibly slow, unfortunately. But I think that's it for now. We will give everybody a 5-minute pack. I do apologize on last-minute cancellation on one of the demos. We'll get that one scheduled for next week for sure. Other than that, have a awesome rest of the week, and let's stay in touch. And please remember, your feedback is critical for us, so we know what you want us to cover within these community calls, and also what you want us to build within a product. So it's not just the community calls, it's also always give us feedback related on product features and capabilities, and constructive feedback is always the best way of doing that. There might be issues which are obvious for you, but they might be not always obvious for even in internal Microsoft people. But thanks everybody for joining. Let's close up for now and have a great rest of the week. Thanks everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.